David in New Orleans. You're on Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. How can we help you, David?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. I had an uncle that pretty much raised me from birth, and he died in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. He told me when I was much younger that he took out a life insurance policy on me, and I have absolutely no records of that or how I may be able to access a policy by the insurance company, whatever that company may be.
How long ago did he pass?
He died right after Hurricane Katrina.
Okay, that's right. So it's been a little while. Was
Yes,
he
sir,
married?
it
Was there a spouse?
He was not.
Okay.
He had no spouse. He was not married.
What is your
And
age now, David?
I'm 63.
Okay. I can't tell you where to go search for this. Myself, I would probably have to Google there, but I know regarding when people die, they've got procedures in place where insurance companies are notified they're researching this, and they no longer can take a blind eye to a benefit being paid off. Some of them have gotten quite a bit of penalties in the last few years by trying to ignore, we're not aware they died, and right. Policies lapse and stuff. 60 Minutes a couple years ago had a pretty good story on that. From your standpoint, if he had a life insurance policy on you a long time ago, he may have let that thing lapse. If it was, say, from a childhood standpoint, it could have been paid up to a certain point or minimal premium and then shifts. It just depends on the structure of that. If it was a significant policy, I would think you would have known more about it to turn it over. What are you looking for in the discovery of this said policy?
Well, if there was a policy and he probably paid on it for anywhere from 40 to 50 years, it might represent a significant amount of money that just may be out there in some insurance company's account that I do not know how to have access to.
Yeah, possibly. Define significant amount of money from your standpoint.
Well, like I said, he told me that he took his life insurance policy out on me when I was quite young. And the reason I don't have more information about it is because before years and years and years before Hurricane Katrina, he had a very, very traumatic head injury, and he lost a great deal of his memory and his cognitive skills.
So if this was a premium paying policy and he had this illness and such and probably affected him financially, I'm just going to go what I think might be the likelihood of it is that he may have cashed that policy. It may elapse because of lack of premiums somewhere along the way. We've got scenarios where that's likely not to have continued beyond that point. Now, if you're 60 and you're saying, well, he took it out 50, 60 years ago, maybe he could have then, but once again, he does not have, if we were doing that today, he's not going to have the capability of doing so. Your mom or dad or both can take out a policy on you because of the insurable interest. But if he's not raising you and responsible for you, he's not going to have the insurable interest to take out a policy on you. I don't think, and because of those kind of correlations, if he did, it might have been that Gerber thing where you send in and there's not going to be much. There's not significant life insurance amount, and there's not going to be much cash value. And if it's was that situation, that policy's not in place anymore, and it's highly unlikely there's going to be any significant amount of money.
Do you have any suggestions on how or whom I might be able to contact to verify that?
Who went through his house when he died? Who looked at his records and paperwork? That's where you would start. Did anybody keep anything? Who went through all of that? That's kind of
actually, I did, and I don't recall seeing any paperwork regarding any life insurance policies.
okay, because there wasn't one. That's why.
Yeah, it sounds very unlikely. The state of Louisiana has updated their little portal since the last time we had this question on the show. So if you go to the Louisiana Department of Insurance, the insurance commissioner's office, Jim Donnellan's our insurance commissioner here in Louisiana, they even give you a 4-step process that they want you to run through before you submit the request online. You can go submit looking for lost life insurance policies, just like your scenario. But even there are a few paragraphs here on their website. Doesn't sound like they're too optimistic about finding it, as if, you can do your own search, go through bank records and see if you can track down where premiums were paid, things like that. And if none of that works, then you can submit a request online, or you can print it out and submit a paper request via the mail. But that's going to be your ultimate backstop. But it's
Yeah, you're going to have premium notices. When you went through his records, there would have been like premium notices that would show up, could be annually, quarterly, or monthly. If he was paying for it through, say, bank account, you would see, or writing a check if you went through bank records, that you were able to look back through the past year or two. And if it didn't show up, there's highly unlikely there's anything there. And if there was something there, it's small and insignificant in that case.
Okay, terrific. That's more information than I had previously.
Okay.
Thanks for your time, guys.
all right.
Yeah. Hey, can't give him good news there. It's just, I just wouldn't want him to just struggle from now on. Like, oh my God, I wished I could find out about that. That would so help if I could find that money.
A little bit of closure.
And then the other side of that, the uncle's the owner of the policy. So you're doing a research, and it may not even be tied to the insured, because the uncle's the owner of the policy. That's who they're going to send notices to and list it that way. So if you're doing some research, David, or anybody else picking up on that, think of the ownership of the contract as well. That's pretty impactful there. The insured is going to jumpstart if there's a death. The insured, that payment out is based on the insured's life. Just like on an annuity, it's based on the annuitant. But you could have a different owner with insurable interest there as well. So the death of the annuitant or death of the insured will cause something to happen, but the death of the owner doesn't cause a payout in that case necessarily.
Yeah, it sounds tough here. The Louisiana Department of Insurance website, ldi.la.gov, and they even admit here that if you're got your life insurance from a company that was licensed in the past, but they're no longer licensed in our state, they won't be in the search request. Some companies may not have submitted their files to be searched electronically. There's they admit there's some active policies which cannot be located through this search feature, but it's something.
Well, take it a step further. It could have been a company that has merged with a company that merged with another company. And connecting all that data requires coders to work a long time on matching those computer systems up. I've heard horror stories about that.
ldi.la.gov. I hope it helps, but it doesn't sound too good.